Hi, welcome to Petradot. And in today's lesson, we'll be learning how to to accept input from a user and then to print an output to the user. So first of all, we'll start with the output. So in Java, we have three ways in which we can print out uh, output using the system.output stream. So this system.output stream provides us with three methods. This is the system.output stream. It provides us with three methods, which includes the print line, the print, and the printf. So what are their differences? The print line prints the specified argument and then moves the cursor to the next line. We have been using system.out.println in our previous lessons to print out something to the output. So now let's test run and get the differences. For example, we say that system.out.println hello world. Right, with this now, when we run this program, you see that the cursor will appear on the next line. Right, it will just print everything to the whole line and push the cursor to the next line, not on the same line. So let's test run and see. Run this program. Oh, we have one running before. All right, so let's run the program. Okay, now you can see we have hello world here. Now you can see that we have our cursor to the next line. So for example, now if I should duplicate this system.out.println now, for example, hello world 2, you can see it printed it in the next line. But now let's test run print and see. Let's say I have the first line to be print. Let's see what is going to happen to this hello world 2. You can see that it printed hello world 2 on the same line with the previous hello world, right? Meaning the print prints the specified argument without moving the cursor to the next line. So because it didn't move the cursor to the next line, the hello world 2 joined it immediately on the same line. So but if I use print line here, what is going to happen? Let's run it again. It will push the hello world 2 to the next line. And that is how the print and the print line works. So let's talk of the printf. The printf just provides a formatted output. That's all. So it helps to format the output you are going to print. Let's say, for example, you have something like system.out.println and I want to print the name of the user, but it should be formatted this way as a string. Then I want to print the age as well, and it should format it as a digit, a whole number. Then I also want to print the salary, and it should be formatted as a float or a decimal number in two. I want it to accept it in two decimal places of a float. So you can decide to accept it as as number of decimal places as you want. Let's say 3, 2, 4, as depending on what you want, right? So but for this example, we're going to be using 3. So save the then the next thing is to pass the value. Sorry, since we are using printf, it is printf here, not print line, right? So we can now pass the value, and when passing the value, you have to pass it according to the way it is aligned here. That is, string came first, followed by a digit, then followed by the salary. So let's pass the values now. So the name is John, followed by the age 23, followed by the salary 25,000. All right, so let's run our program and see. You can see we have name John, age 23, salary 25,454. Even though we had more than that here, it removed this one because we said we needed it in 3 decimal places, hence why it shortened it to 3 here. And that is all about the output. So the Java program uses the system output stream to print out output to the user, and it has three methods: the print line, the print, and the printf. So now let's talk about the how to accept input from a user. To do that, Java have a default class for doing that. A popular way you can use to do it, most used way, is the use of the scanner class. So the scanner class is a default class provided by Java under the utility package, and for you to use it, you have to import it first. So, and how do you import? Since we are done with this, let me take off some of this now and collapse it. All right, we're working with the scanner class now. So for you to be able to use the scanner class, you have to import. How do you do that? Use the import keyword, import java.util.scanner. All right, you use the import java.util.scanner. Without this, you'll not be able to use the scanner class. So first of all, you have to import. So when you import, you now come here and create an object of that scanner class for you to be able to use it. All right, and how do you do that? Scanner. Then the next thing again is to give the name of the scanner. You can name it whatever you want. You can name it input. You should make it in a way to be readable. For example, I can call it user input equals to new scanner. Then it uses the system input stream, which is you now pass the system.in to it. So this is how you create an object, an instance of a scanner class for you to be able to use it. But let me just leave the name to be scanner. There is a purpose so that you understand whenever I'm using the class, the scanner, to take an input from a user. All right. So now to use the scanner class, it has these methods, about 5 of them, to collect input from the user, and the 5 of them have different purposes depending on the kind of input you want to take from the user. So for example, if you want to take a string from the user, a line of string, then you use the next line. If you want to take a whole number, an integer, you use the next int. If you want to take a double, a floating point number from the user, you use the next double. Then if you want to collect a boolean value that will make the user to answer either true or false, you use the next boolean, right? Then if you want to read just a single word string from the user, you use the next, right? So let's text run this thing one after the other and see. But anytime you want to collect input from the user, it is necessary that you tell the user what you want to collect. And how do you do that? You use the output methods, right? Depending on what you want. So first of all, you have to trigger to the user system.out.println, enter your name. For example, we want to collect the name from the user. But now I want the name. Whenever I tell the user to enter the name, the value should appear in the same line. So place the cursor for me on the same line, hence why I'm going to be using print here, right? So after that, I will now create a string that will collect that value. So I'll create a string name scanner.next line. String name equals to the scanner that I created, the scanner object dot next line. So this is going to collect the name from the user as a string and assign it for me in this variable called name. So let us print out the value that the person just entered. System.out.print line. I'm using print line user's name is equal to this, right? I'm using print line because I want, whenever I finish printing this name, you should go to the next line. Place the cursor for me on the next line. Do not print any other thing on this line again, so as to indicate that this particular form is ended for this name, right? So I'll save the program and run it. Let's see. Enter your name. You can see my cursor is on the same line now for me to enter the name. No matter how I click on that, it would remain on the same line. So name is John and I submit it. You say user's name John, which is what we have here, and you can see that our cursor is now on the next line. That is to test run the output as well. So to collect a string of an entire line, you use the new line, right? So let's test run for next int. I want to collect a whole number, an integer from the user. Let me copy this. Oh, Control C. All right, enter your age, and the age is going to be an integer. So, but since it's going to be an integer, you should collect it for me as an int, which is next int, right? So int age equals to the scanner object that we created dot next int. Collect this integer for me and assign it to this age for me. So user's age is age. Let's run this program now and see. So first of all, it's going to ask us to enter the name, which I will do, John. Then it will ask you to enter your age, which is, for example, 23, and it tell user's age is 23. All right, let's test run for that of the double. The double collects a float value. Press this, enter your salary. Double, since we are going to be collecting a decimal place number, dot salary is equals to dot next double. Exactly. So user's salary is salary. All right, so let's run this program and see. Enter your name, John. Enter your age, 23. Enter your salary, 25,000. All right, you can see it here. User salary is this. I can decide to format this user's salary using the printf. So I had to give it to me in 2 decimal places. So let's use the printf, and this salary should come as a formatted in 2 decimal places. And after formatting it, please enter the next line, because normal printf will not move to the next line. So I will use this percentage n to move it to the next line. This format n to move it to the next line, to move the cursor to the next line, right? So let's run this program again and see. Name, John. Age, 23. Salary. Oh, let me draw this out. Okay, all right. So 25,000 points. You can see it has formatted it to 2 decimal places. All right, so that is collecting a decimal value using the next double. So the next thing is next boolean, similar to others. Let me just copy this. So I'll just come here and say and ask a question, which is name is a male, and I want you to pass the value for me, which is the name here, the name that the user entered before. John is a male. If it is true, enter true, else enter false. That is what it's going to be. John is a male, true or false, comma, true or false. So boolean is male dot next boolean, right? So scanner dot next boolean, collect a boolean for me. User is male, then is male. All right, let's run this program and see. So the name is John, age 23, salary 25,000 points, blah blah blah. John is a male, true or false? True. User is male, true. All right, and that is all. That is about the next boolean. Then the next reads the next word separated by a space. Let's test this and see. Separated by a space. All right, say I want this user to give me his favorite word. Enter your favorite word. All right, which is, take it as a string, collect it as a string word is equals to dot next, then users word is word. Right, so let's run this program now and see. Name is John, age is 23, salary is 25,000 points. John is a male, true or false? True. Enter your favorite word. Let me intentionally enter two words and separate it by a space so that we can get it well. We have joy, then we'll have run. What did it pick? It picked joy first, right? Because there is a space here. So just like next said, it says reads the next word separated by a space. All right, that is all about the scanner to accept inputs from the user. So to recap, we treated how to print out an output, and Java uses the system output stream with three methods: print line, print, or printf, while it uses the scanner class to accept inputs from the user, and it has about 5 methods: next line for reading the entire line of a string, next int reads the next integer whole number, next double for reading a floating point number or double, then next boolean for reading a boolean value, true or false, and finally the next, which reads the next word separated by a space. And this will be the end of our lesson today. If you have any question, drop it on the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.